it.
Right, good evening to you, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are watching this. We are at our launch party, recording this here. It's verbal for you. Launch party of the X Factor, the new album from Maiden. Could stand for one of two things. It could be number 10, or it could be X.
It can mean the unknown, it can mean the X generation, it can mean the X Factor, the feeling, the chemistry within the band.
Sometimes we play through and it'll be,
oh, yes.
It's just had this certain something, certain magic, and that's what we kept referring to as the X Factor.
And also, I mean, coincidentally, X is, you know, Roman numerals 10. It's the 10th Iron Maiden album.
I suppose it's taken us about a year to record. All in all, probably about 15 to 18 months, you know, with the writing and everything. And it took a long time because we've basically done a double album, really.
We have, it's Nigel Green and Steve Harris, both, you know, co-producing it. Nigel Green we'd actually worked with before on, he'd done like Number Beats and Killers, so we need this guy from back then. And since he's worked with Mutt Lange, you know, so a lot of, he's worked with Def Leppard and everything. So his way of thinking in the studio, very modern as far as technology goes. And that's what we want to create on the new Iron Maiden album, make it like a very 90s sounding album, yet it still has the identity of Maiden.
I think it's the best sounding album we've ever done.
The new single, track called Man on the Edge, was written by Blaze and I. And it was just written so natural. It just came out of nothing, really. We had a couple of riffs. Blaze turned a couple of pages over and he brought these words out, and they just summed up exactly what I was feeling and what I was playing. And it was as if he'd pulled a spark out of the air.
saw that film with Michael Douglas, Falling Down, and a couple of days after, I found myself being affected by it. Not actually when I saw it, I thought, oh yeah, this song's okay, I like that. And then after, as I started to notice things around me in my environment that were referenced in that film, I started to think, yeah, when he steps out of the car, he steps out of a cage into another dimension. When he can't get change, then he goes even further down there until he can't come back. And I thought that it really said a lot about living in cities and the way we live on top of each other, inside each other, hemmed in with each other.
I'm waiting, I'm lying like this. There's a hole in the sky for the angels to kiss. When you're the leper because you don't get to the land of the free, you just live by your whips. Once he felt this,
It gives you that idea of urban decay, and the idea that we're all being hemmed in and by decadence and everything else that goes with it, the whole inner city problem that's around us all the time. And it summed it up, it summed the whole thing up. I think it really did something with those lyrics.
falling down, falling down, falling down, falling down, falling down, falling down.
Now Blaze, you see, he is the X Factor at the moment in the band, because he hasn't been on the stage with us yet.
When we were talking about who we're going to get for a new singer in this band, Steve's first choice, he said Blaze Bailey. He was like the top of the list.
Basically, I suppose he probably got the job because he first played football with Maiden on when their Wolfsbane toured with us. He was in bands called Wolfsbane. And he travelled around with me for a while and played in the Maiden football team. He got the name then, really, and got on really well with him and everything. And then when he came down to audition, you know, obviously we knew him and stuff, and he's worked out really well, you know.
Well, he just walked in, grabbed hold of the mic and went, "Whoa, da, 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 da." And that was it, really. We was, in the whole band, it was like,
Oh my God, it's for real.
Hey, two my bloody heroes off.
He came in and he just had this fire.
He's such an excitable character. I mean, we've got two of them now, him and Nico, pretty, you know, on a level as far as craziness goes.
And I think it was Nick who just turned to us and he said, "That's Iron Maiden."
When he came to the audition, we did half a dozen, 7 songs. And I'll tell you, man, it was like we had done a show in the rehearsal room. He was so energetic, vibing around. When we finished the songs, we were sitting there like, well, all you could hear, that, you know, the old buzzing of the amps through the speakers. We were shell-shocked. It was like, uh-oh, what have we gone and done letting ourselves in for it?
it just clicked. It was like almost like sparks were flying around the studio.
It's just, you know, exciting being in the band with him because he's so, you know, up for everything and stuff. And so, you know, it's exciting. And his vocals on the album was really, really superb. So, you know, I can't wait to get out and tour with him, really. I mean, great voice. What can I say?
Cheers, mate.
Play me later.
I know what I like about bands like Iron Maiden. Like I love AC/DC. I like what they stand for. They've always not been the same, but given me the same vibes every time they brought out an album. The music has changed through the years, but it's always given me the same thing. And Iron Maiden is the same, and I'm sure years from now Metallica will be the same. When you're into Maiden, you know that with the next record you're going to get something. It's going to be different. It might challenge you, but it won't stray away. They're not going to go pop. They're not going to go grunge. They're not going to go rap or reggae or anything like that. That it's transcended anything. It's Iron Maiden, and to me, that is just like being let loose in a sweet shop.
His performance on the album is stunning, you know, without a doubt. I mean, his voice just suits the band so well, and the melodies and everything he's come up with, and everything, the writing and everything, it just suits the band very well.
When you hear your voice, when you're in rehearsals and you hear your voice, and you've got Steve Harris there, and Nico, and Yannick, and Dave, it's like, oh, it's like,
Yeah, Sign of the Cross is the longest song on the album. It's about 11 and a half minutes, something like that. And it's a real sort of epic, I suppose, along the lines of Seventh Son or Seventh Son, that type of thing. And, you know, we sort of try to get some orchestra type sounds and stuff on it, which worked out really well. We used some different type of voices and all that, try a few different things out. And it worked out really well. And it's the opening track of the album.
Standing alone in the wind and rain, feeling the fear that is growing, sensing the change in the tide of earth, up on the storm that is brewing. Feel the anxiety, hold up the fear, some of the doubt to the thing to believe. Now that your faith will be put to the test, nothing to do but await what is coming. Why then is not to protecting me, even when I don't deserve it. Going and rest with an inner strength, someday we'll call it a better.
having been outside the band and listened to the band for a long time and knowing some of the stuff quite well, when you actually start singing some of the things that Steve writes, you find an extra depth. And the new songs that Steve came up with, that he'd written the words and the melodies to, and he was getting me to sing, it was really, really satisfying because he brought out a part of my voice that I'd been looking for a long time. Well, Look for the Truth was an idea, really. It's a kind of recurring lyrically, it's a kind of recurring nightmare, and about those dark times that we have when you're trying to face up to who you are and what's going on inside.
Judgment of Heaven is, I think, is a really, I don't know, catchy tune. It's, I wouldn't say it's commercial exactly, but it's got loads and loads of harmonies in it. It's sort of Thin Lizzy-ish, I suppose, in the middle. And right from the intro, it sort of draws you in, and it's got a massive chorus. So, yeah, I'm really pleased with the song.
All my life, I have believed judgment of heaven is waiting for me. All of my life, I have believed judgment of heaven is waiting for me, waiting for me, waiting for me, waiting for me. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Edge of Darkness was more. It was like like a journey. It's, it's got a small reference to the movie Apocalypse Now, and it's that whole vibe of looking inside yourself and recognising the animal instincts and the darker side of human nature. I don't think in the last 40,000 years that humanity has escaped that. I think civilization has just been plastered over the top of it, and we've learned to live by rules so we can just about get along together and don't fall apart in anarchy.
Every minute I get weaker. While in the jungle they grow strong. What I wanted was a mission, and for my sins they gave me one. They brought it up just like room service, 'cause everyone gets what they want. And when that mission was all over, I never want another one.
Again, the music is the most important thing, and the fact that it's uncompromising and it's full strength, heavy rock. It has all the power and depth of emotion. There's no fear about, oh, will people like this, or should it be like this because they won't like it. It's no, play what you feel. To me, that's the best thing about being in our Maiden.
I've nothing left inside for tears. Comrades dead or dying live.
With the aftermath, I'd had an idea hanging around for quite a while that I wanted to do something about the First World War and the poets of the First World War, because in the British Army there was a company of musicians and poets, like just guys who played trumpet and all that. These guys were in the trenches, and I feel that the First World War was relevant because two global conflicts started in Europe. The first one started in Sarajevo with the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand, and so that made it more relevant. And as well, I felt that the deeper truth and the real truth about those conflicts isn't written in the history books, but it's written by the men who experienced it.
After the war, what does a soldier become?
Yeah, Blood in the World's Nico's always been going on me for years really to do a bass solo. I never wanted to do one, but I did just a little intro, a little acoustic bass intro thing, and basically, you know, well, it's not really a solo, but it's a shorter version of one. It's probably about the nearest to the bass solo I'll ever get, I reckon.
Well, that's like a song about the kind of a desolate feeling that maybe we all feel that sometimes when you just are alone and you ask the deeper and bigger questions in the middle of the night, and that's what it's about really. And Yannick and I started messing about with something, came up with the bit of the melody and stuff, and then we went to Steve to get, because it needed something else, an extra bit of fire, you know, a bit more of the edge to get the true sentiment of what the song was about, to get that over. And Steve, like classic Steve Harris style, oh yeah, let's try a bit of this, try a bit of that, and it was like, you know, perfect.
Here I am again. Look at me again. Here I am again. On my own. Trying hard to see what there is for me. Here I am again. On my own. Alone again, I'm here on my own.
Just to play music that you like with people that you like, and get to do that a lot of the time is brilliant.
You go and have a really good time. That's the thing, you know, you can look across at Jan and he's really into it. And that's the thing in this music, it's, you know, it's being into it, man.
I was
and
thinking,
feel
in this
you know,
music, you've just
feel
got to
it.
look into people's eyes to see whether they're really honest and they're doing
Yeah.
it for real. And there's very few people you can actually look into their eyes at a gig, and you know you're going to get a stare back that's going to just frighten you to death. And this is one of them bands who can get to the front, you can fight your way through the crowd, get to the front, look into their eyes and think, oh my God, it's for real.
I'm really looking forward to the tour. I mean, it's been like over 2 years since we played live. I've been in the studio for a year, so you get a bit stir crazy after a while, and then, you know, I just want to get out there and play, and I just can't wait to get out there and play, you know, in front of audiences or you know, whatever. And it's just whatever we play, clubs, theatres, big gigs, open air gigs. You know, I'm looking forward to all of them.
Well, when we're out there and we're cranking it up and we're going for it, then I just end up getting excited.
To me, that's all there is. You know, the rest of it are little byproducts that you have to do. But the most important thing to me as a guitar player is to play, and to play in front of people.
When you get out there on tour, when you're in the hall, when you're on the stage, it's the one time where the bullshit stops, where it's just you and the crowd, you and the fans. You're both in the same room, listening to the same music, under the same lights, breathing the same air.
We're fired up, we're ready to go. We've got Blaze, he's fired up, ready to go. And You know, just making the video yesterday, it was doing. We were just, it was like, you know, you put the kind of playback, but it was like there even then. So
And we had so
we were
many
actually
blisters
playing.
and cuts on our
Yes.
hands from that video
Yeah.
because it felt like we were out live.
Yeah. We actually drew blood yesterday, but I think you have to draw blood unless you want
If you want
something.
blood,
Yeah.
you've got it.
Yeah.